You like Cheez-Its, but you want to ditch the carbs and all the bad ingredients comes with it? Try these Carnivore Cheez-Its. They are the easiest to make, and they only have one simple ingredient. Welcome to the channel, folks. Thank you for stopping by today. If you're new here, my name is Kelly. I am the Missouri Carnivore. I live here in Missouri and I go on mission trips. Matter of fact, when this video comes out, I will be traveling to Mexico on my 7th build. And so being carnivore, I be carnivore 667 days when this video comes out. And I want to make sure that I'm in good health. Also, I want to make sure I'm prepared because being on these trips, you can't just go get meat or anything when you go out here because we're going to Juarez and we need to stay together group. What they do is they feed you breakfast, they feed you supper, and you get a sack lunch that you fix. Sometimes the families out on the build will fix lunch. A lot of times it's high in carbs, and I don't want that stuff in my body. I want to make sure that I'm in good health, especially being on almost 2 years on carnivore. And even though I have a bad hip, I can be able to do stuff that most people that has bad joints cannot be able to do. And so I am grateful to go on this. But also as you're traveling, and I am the lone carnivore, and they're going to have a lot of cookies and snacks and stuff like that, high in sugar, high in carbs. And sometimes I can be disciplined and not eat, but sometimes, you know, you get that hungry. And I also want to be prepared as we are traveling in the vans. I'm prepared. So I'll make beef jerky, dehydrated thick cut bacon. I take pork rind, stuff like that. But there's one thing on the carnivore diet I do miss, but I don't miss the carbs, and that is Cheez-Its. And no, I'm not talking about eating these Cheez-Its. These are very bad for you. They're full of carbs. They're full of ingredients that you can't pronounce. And eating this, I don't want to hinder my diet. I don't want to go backwards because that's the worst thing I can do. So in this video, we are going to be making a super simple, easy, one ingredient Carnivore Cheez-It. Let's get those out of the way. And all we need is cheese. Now, if you want to do a optional salt or sea salt like Malden sea salt crushed up, or Saltr, or Redmond's, go for it, or some kind of seasoning, you can, to add a little flavor. All I'm going to do is one ingredient. So let's get started making them. First thing we're going to do is I'm going to open it. I'm actually going to be doing two kinds of Cheez-Its here. One of them's going to be sharp cheddar that tastes just like a Cheez-It, and another one that I really super like, cheese I like, and if you could, sometimes people can eat it, sometimes people can't, is I'm going to use pepper jack cheese. All right, I got the cheeses laid out. I've already pulled it out of the package, and what I did was I took all the paper that was in between out, and what I did was stack this cheese up, each sliced up. So all we're going to do is we're going to you can make 4 or up to 9 individual pieces off of this. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to make 4. It's so easy. So it's just 2 cuts. So we're going to go one down, and then we're going to go again. So all you're doing is just making 4 cuts. So you're making individual pieces. You can make them smaller or you can make them bigger. So I'm going to try on this one, cut them down the middle. I might see if make 6 individuals. And I did 6 pieces on that. So I have the oven behind me, it is preheated to 275. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to lay each cheese piece flat so it can melt and crisp up to make a Cheez-It cracker. Now, it is optional, again, if you want to add some salt to it or some spices, but all I'm going to do is just make the cheese because it tastes just as good without it. And the other optional thing I don't do, because the unique thing about Cheez-Its is they have that little circle in the middle. So I'm not going to do that either because eventually it will melt and it will disappear. But if you want to do it, go for it. Now let's go ahead and put the pepper jack on the cookie sheet. I'm noticing with the pepper jack, it's a different type of cheese here versus the sharp cheddar. Much easier to actually pull apart without it crumbling versus this pepper jack. Must be something to do with the Monterey Jack cheese because it's a softer type cheese, but it does make a great Cheez-It. Now I got all the cheese slices lined on the parchment lined cookie sheets. I got the oven behind me preheated to 275. I'm going to put them in the oven and we're going to bake them for about 15 to 20 minutes. And I'll be back to give it a taste test. The Carnivore Cheez-Its are done. I pulled them out of the oven. I let them cool for about 10 minutes. And I placed them into this glass sealed container so I can take with me on the mission trip. And that way it seals. One thing about these Cheez-Its, I'm sure there's probably different methods that you can make them a little bit crispier. They did come out a little bit more, but they're not as crispy as what you would have with a Cheez-It. But for a great snack, especially when you're going on a road trip or like me on a mission trip, that way I want to be well prepared and not have to go off the carnivore diet or fast. This was a good option, especially like a cracker option. And so I did, like I said, I did two kinds. I did a pepper jack and I did a sharp cheddar, and they come out pretty good. I did cut some that are larger and like 4 squares, and then I did some that are smaller, like the bite size, like the Cheez-Its are. So I'm gonna pull one out. One that did get a little bit crispier, a little bit larger one here, and I'm going to give it a taste test, and these are pretty good. That one, excuse me, I'm kind of stuck in my throat there. That one actually, that one did kind of have a crisp to it. Some did turn out like that, some didn't. But I usually make these now and then with the sharp cheddar. Now, I never had the pepper jack cheese. I'm going to give this a taste test for the first time. That one here is kind of on the crisp side, where it looks like it will have a little bit of a crisp. Not bad. It's a little bit crispy, a little bit chewy, but this is definitely a great option, especially for me, or if you're like me going on a mission trip or on a trip and you're the only one that's carnivore. This is a great way to prepare your food to take with you, especially on the road, because there is not much options for snacks when you're on the road for a carnivore. You might find some, but the one thing about the especially the road trips, like a lot of your beef jerkies, you have to be careful with what you eat. You might find some boiled eggs at some gas stations. You might find some no sugar added beef sticks, but there's not much options out there for a healthy carnivore at a gas station. But you can find some. But the best thing, and you can save a lot of money by just making your own. This was, both packages didn't cost me but maybe $3.48. a box of Cheez-Its costs almost that much. And so that's a pretty good deal for a healthy snack that has that Cheez-It type feel to it. And I will link this in the description box down below, this recipe and the options if you want to add salt or seasoning. Mine is just one single ingredient. It tastes just as good without it. But if you want to add salt, that is good. It is great. Very easy to make. It only took me 15 to 20 minutes to bake and another 10 minutes to cool. And this is what we come up with. So as we end this video, would you do one thing for me? Hit that like button. The more likes that this video get, the more that YouTube will push it out to others so others can view. Subscribe to Missouri Carnivore. Comment down below that you want to try these cheeses. I'll definitely have that recipe down below and how to make them. And hit that notification bell so you know when the next video will come out. Like always, let's be kind, be positive, have a good attitude, and encourage and support one another. Y'all have a great day. God bless. And if you want to know what I pack, check